So I just finished Castlevania, and if I'm being honest, I really liked it. There is a lot that transpires within the 4 seasons of Castlevania. With that, I feel there are a lot of good things and some bad things that transpired within this. To make things interesting, let's start off with the bad things. I think killing off Dracula at the very beginning of the season was good, but also bad at the same time. I get it, there's other things that are going to transpire, but at the same time, Carmilla basically had the exact same plan Dracula did, just in a different way. But all of it means nothing when Dracula comes back with his wife. Like, they just appear in a field and that's not even explained. We're led to believe Belmont had something to do with it, but I digress. I'll talk on that later. Carmilla's story, I thought, could have been way better. The idea was very much there, but also involving Isaac and Hector, that also could have changed. As a matter of fact, you could have just kept it on these three in their own respective side stories, and that could have been the entirety of Castlevania. I'm mad because these two could have had a better story altogether, but towards the end of Castlevania, they kind of just gave up on this. Which is insane to say, knowing that Isaac had one of the greatest character development out of any of the characters that existed, yet that was just it. Takes out Carmilla? Okay. Like, what else is there? Now he just rules this castle and that's it? And then Hector, he hits it and quits it, and then, Lenore just ends up, So, I mean, at least he cracked, which is cool, maybe multiple times, but, like, now she's gone. And the other two sisters are doing their own thing. I think the way the writers went about doing Castlevania with that story towards the end was very rushed. Like, the connectives just aren't connecting. But I can definitely say there were connectives with Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor. Their story was good, except for maybe a few things here and there. Trevor and how he managed to get back, whether or not he pulled Dracula and, what's-her-face out of hell, I don't know. Again, we're just led to believe that's the case. Same thing about Saint Germain, like, he opened up the infinite corridor, but we don't see that happen. It's just plot, I guess. On the topic of Saint Germain, he never got to see his wife again. Like, I don't know if there's some poetic justice with that, but, like, I'm kind of pissed he didn't. And then Death. Look, I love the design, I love the fight, but I wish there was, like, a little bit more. It felt too one-sided, and that one side was going to Trevor. That sounds crazy to say, but it's true. Like, you would think Death, quote unquote, would have like so much more up his sleeve. Nope. All he did was just swing that scythe and that was it. Animation wise, it was great. I loved it. Just wish there was a little bit more to it. Now, all that being said, it makes it sound like I hated this thing, when I really didn't. Yes, there are a few things that weren't wrapped up or some loose ends that existed, but whatever. Overall though, this was a great story. My favorite, personal favorite, being that of Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard. Because obviously they're the main characters and their story has to make sense. Their adventures together or apart really made sense towards the story in season 2 and 3. Obviously back together in season 4 just to get everything done. And the biggest thing about all of this was animation. That has to be the most peak thing that exists within Castlevania. There are moments throughout each fight where the impact frames, where the fluidity of the animation really shines through. Not just for the trio themselves. The same thing can be said about Isaac versus Carmilla, which honestly is in my top 3 fights of the entirety of Castlevania. On the topic of Isaac, I cannot stress to you how insanely important his character development was. From wanting to kill all humans to having the ideals of doing his own thing his own way without the service of Dracula being involved. There is no other character in this that had as good character development. And that ending, I did like. It was a very satisfying ending. Everyone ended happily ever after. That's great. But again, I wish there was just some things that were answered that weren't answered that would have probably satisfied me even more. But it's things like that where you kind of just have to guess for yourself, and that's that. But overall, I don't think I could have asked for anything better. Definitely worth the watch. Kind of mad that I didn't watch it earlier, and I'm only catching up to it now, but yeah, man, if you have not seen this for yourself, I recommend it. It's completely worth it.